Howdy. This is the Gene Machine, coming at you live from the corner of my bedroom. And today I got something different for you guys. For those of you who didn't watch my videos before this one specifically, to sum it up in one sentence, I made videos on misleading mobile game ads, and unfortunately a company didn't like that and strike down one of my videos, ultimately causing me to cower back and rebrand my channel. So, starting today, Gene Machine, formerly known as Ad Analysis, is a series dedicated to making an extensive analysis on games that I may or may not have played before. And so today I have indeed played this game, and it's none other than TimeSplitters 2. TimeSplitters 2 is a sequel to, well, I'm sure you can guess the first game, and was created by Free Radical, who are no longer in business. It's considered an arcade FPS collectathon in which you do various missions to unlock game modes, characters, maps, and much more. So, in this order, which you can easily browse through the timestamp shown when you scrub through the video, we'll be taking a look first at the game's story mode, which will take up most of the video, then we'll take a look at the various arcade missions the game has to offer, a short overview of the game's Mapmaker mode, and finally, we'll end it with an overall conclusion. So with that out of the way, let's get started with the analysis, shall we? Let's begin with the story of TimeSplitters 2. In the year 2401, at a distant space station located in space, here we'll find a couple of space marines chillin', relaxin', having a good... Oh, never mind, they're dead. You see, these white creatures here, known as TimeSplitters, have taken over this incredibly important space station. Hey, you want to know how these things reproduce? Anyway, you're probably wondering, well, what's so important about this space station? Well, aside from the fact that it probably costs taxpayers billions of dollars to fund, this space station is home to the mystical time crystals, which, as you might have guessed, control the balance of time. Now, why do these TimeSplitters want to destroy the time crystals? Well, to figure that out, we need to look at all the info we've been given so far. Huh, what do you know? Now, of course, if these TimeSplitters were to, say, destroy the time crystals, reality as we know it would be lost. And we can't have that, so you and a buddy take the role of two high-ranking Marines, Sergeant Cortez and Corporal Hart respectively. Yes, Sergeant Cortez is absolutely the physical embodiment of the deep-fried meme. And Corporal Hart? Well, don't get too attached to her because she dies. Oh, wait, that's later in the story, my bad. Anyway, the two of you are tasked with literally making an entire alien race extinct to protect your own. Now that I think about it, it probably would have been a better idea to bring more than 2 people. I mean, this ship looks like it probably fit, 20 people on it. Regardless, though, after making it up this elevator and blasting a couple of the TimeSplitters, oh, and using a grenade on a single one of them... You arrive in the core of the space station, but oh no, it's too late! The TimeSplitters have already pressed the red button and are now, taking the time crystals into a portal? I mean, if these guys want to end humanity, wouldn't they just, I don't know, smash the crystals or something? I mean, I guess that's why their names are TimeSplitters and not Time Throw That Shit on the Ground, baby. But that's beside the point. Anyway, after realizing you're too late, you do your best to clear out the area and finish off by closing the door you came in the most badass way possible. After that, Corporal Hart decides to stay back to monitor the portal, even though it doesn't really make sense if you're playing co-op because in that mode she just comes with you anyway, but who cares because later she dies. Sorry, back on track. Now as Sergeant Cortez, your job is to head on through the portal to retrieve the time crystals in a quantum leap fashion where you take the role as various people in the past to achieve your goal. Hey, screw the present. Being here ain't so bad after all. Now, I will say, while not the most original concept, I love the execution. The idea of going through a portal as a diverse cast of various characters while at the same time being Sergeant Cortez as well, to both retrieve the time crystals and perform whatever task is necessary that the person he's controlling completed at the time, that's really cool and leaves for an exciting story with an excuse to have various atmospheres and environments, all of which as we progress through this analysis are really well made. So, now that you understand the context behind this game, including the fact that Corporal Hart dies, let's move right into the first level. It's probably just my nostalgia for this game speaking, but man, what a way to open your level. The shot of the huge dam with it then panning over the entirety of the base you're about to go into, of course meaning you can immediately get an accurate depiction of where the enemies are, and after some smooth camera turns and angles, it closes off with panning into your character, the one and only thick Russian queen, Lisa Nadir, something like that. Now, remember when I mentioned how Sergeant Cortez will take the form of various characters throughout his mission? Well, I mean, I hope you remember because I said it like a minute ago, but regardless, that's exactly what's going on right here. Sergeant Cortez is essentially using Lisa Nadir and Gregor Lenko, if you are playing co-op, as a vessel so that he can exist in the past. Of course, that means that in order to make sure time doesn't get all janked up, Cortez will not only have to retrieve the time crystal, but also pursue whatever task his vessel did in this moment. For this level specifically, Lisa was a Russian spy tasked with infiltrating a Siberian research facility located under this gigantic dam, as there's some shady stuff going on down there, like, I don't know, say zombies? So back to the level, you start out in the darkness with nothing but your minimap, oh and of course some guns and enough bullets conveniently placed on the ground to advance through the level. As you might have already guessed, you must take out everything standing in your way, including guards, cameras, and watermelons. You can either advance through the level stealthily or go guns a-blazing, but as an epic gamer, I decided to advance through the level as stealthy as can be. So using my silenced weaponry, I took out Anomaly over here, shot out the first camera, got a clean hit on Private Unibrow, and then, this wasn't part of the plan. Well, after dealing with those extra couple soldiers, I shut down the remaining camera and opened up the gate to where I needed to go. Now, I had to be cautious at this part because as soon as I walk out, all the way at the tippy top of the dam is a sniper waiting to take me out. But of course, we don't take L's, so after running into this room and grabbing these time bombs, I got my sniper out and aimed right for him. Okay, I did take one L right there, but I really did kill him after that. Now, before I move on, I just want to say some levels have an enemy or two that, unless you have really decent speakers to hear the direction of the gunshot, you're gonna spend a while trying to figure out where these enemies are. This sniper up here is a prime example of that, and on one hand this makes for an even cooler experience the second time you play this level, as you'll feel more accomplished knowing that you took him out before he could shoot you, but on the other hand it does make for a frustrating experience for your first playthrough, especially considering some guns in this game take out half of your health bar in one shot, as you'll see later in this video. Anyway, moving on, to play out Lisa's story, you have to blow up these file cabinets containing super secret files that should never come out to the public, as well as the communications device. You know, this big obnoxious dish right in front of you. With all that done, it's time to move on through the level. Now that we've entered the dam, our job now is to scale it up and across so that we can get to the research facility on the other side of the lake. As we progress up the stairs, there's not much to take note of, with the exception of one thing. When you come across this guy having his back towards you, if you take him out with anything but your fists, I will personally find you and make you regret your life choices.
He must be punched. It's the only proper word.
Okay, moving on. Once at the top, there's this really long segment we have to go through of enemies on top of enemies, all while turning off these steam pressure valves as there's some heavy steam blocking our path. I think this is a great time, by the way, to mention a glaring issue I have with this game, as it was really prevalent here. I mentioned earlier in the video that this game was created by Free Radical, which was a studio comprised of mostly ex-Rare members. If you're familiar with Rare, then you might have already noticed the striking similarities between the feel of this game and some of their past work, like GoldenEye, 007, and Perfect Dark. Now, the issue here is that some of those similarities feel clunky and outdated, the main one being the aiming. During the N64 era, the aiming in that game was revolutionary as it made do with what it could with the joystick. But once the PS2 era hit, that style of snap aiming was a thing in the past, so it had no business being the aiming mechanic in TimeSplitters 2. What I mean by snap aiming is this right here. You are locked to the center of the screen when hip firing, and when you aim, you start at the center as well, meaning that aiming feels like your joystick is being pulled back to the center with gravity. It's incredibly clunky and makes aiming take forever. However, the nice thing at least is that the game balances this out with the auto aim mechanic. When hip firing, so long as you're in the general direction of the enemy, your bullets will most likely hit the opponent, so aiming is something you only have to do against opponents you need to headshot for the one hit kill, or really far away enemies, such as the sniper at the top of the dam. Overall, I think this is the biggest drawback of this game, and while you can use a mouse injector thanks to emulation, the original experience will take some getting used to. With all that said, let's continue. Once we make it through this upper portion of the dam, it's a straight shot down, and once out, we've reached the research facility. Go ahead and take out the enemies and cameras patrolling the area, and as well, be sure to take out the other sniper at the top of the dam again. Must have been his brother or something, but once you've done all that, you're good to enter the facility. The facility feels more of the same. Advance through doing your best to stealthily take out the soldiers, destroying those file cabinets, and taking a nice hot shower in the meantime. And with that, we're finally nearing the heart of the facility. After taking out some more soldiers and these turrets that are waiting to mow you down, God, this place is brutal, but you can now get access to the heart of the facility. Don't mind all the dead bodies on the ground. It's not like they're gonna rise from the dead and try to kill. You know, I'm sure there's some kind of historical accuracy to this. Anyway, we've now got a hold of the internal data of all these experiments going on down here, and we're ready to upload it to national security. And Reddit. Gotta get those upvotes, you know what I'm saying? After uploading the data, you're officially done with Lisa's mission. So now you can head on over to the mining facility over here, grab the time crystal, and oh geez, I wasn't kidding when I said this was the heart of the facility. After blowing up that TimeSplitters to smithereens, it's time to blast on out of here. Or at least, if things went our way, we could do that. Sadly, now not only are the zombies and mutants running rampant, but the cleaning crew is here to take out all the remaining entities, including ourselves. Not to worry though, thanks to our newly acquired handy dandy flamethrower and our even handier dandier fire extinguisher, getting through this area is a breeze. Except for, you know, all the time it's not. Well, we finally escaped the facility. There's just one problem though. The portal we came through is at the peak of the dam, and in order to truly get out of here, we have to scale it once again. Not to worry though, this time we can use the elevator. Huh. You know, usually there's like a boss at the end of these kind of games. I'm surprised that it's actually quite peaceful up here at the— oh my god! So, I guess I took out an enemy attack chopper. Not sure why. I guess these guys are really set on making sure I don't make it out of here alive, but that's alright. We've made it through the portal, and have officially completed the first level. After completing it, we unlock both the hybrid mutant character for the arcade mode, as well as the next level called Chicago. Overall, I'd say this was a fantastic level to introduce you to the game, thanks to its great level design, progression, and I mean, come on, bro. You get to fight a literal attack chopper at the end. Need I say more? Anyway, with that out of the way, let's move on to the next level.
What am I worried about? It's not me that's got to tell the boss. And Francis can handle himself. Yeah, he can look after himself.
Chicago. And I mean that quite literally, like it's the two opening words.
Chicago.
Just as a heads up, to make sure this video doesn't break over an hour, I'll be spending significantly less time on covering the rest of the levels as opposed to Siberia. I spent a long time on Siberia as it's the introduction stage, and that's pretty much why. So anyway, moving on. Chicago, which is set in New York, has you follow the events of— so sorry, I'm getting word from my manager that this level is actually set in Chicago. Well, regardless, Chicago has you following the character Jake Fenton and his accomplice Lady Jane as they set out to eliminate their target who's been running the business around here, none other than the mob boss himself, Big Tony. Big Tony's hiding out in his club, and the only way you can access his club is with a membership card. So, in order to get the card, you have to progress through the level and do various tasks, and some of these tasks include draining these whiskey barrels, which to this day I'll never understand what's the purpose of that, like, oh no, we just destroyed 5 barrels of whiskey, Big Tony's entire business is ruined. There's some other small things you have to do, such as, shoot a car to the point of blowing it up. Oh, we also have to escort a snitch named Marco back to his house, where not only will he tell you where the membership card is, but he'll also let you drink his bottle of balls. Yummy. Finally, before getting the membership card, we have to play a game of pool. Wait a minute. What was the point of all this again? After all that, you're good to scale this hotel for its membership card up at the top, and after that it's off to eliminate Big Tony. So we'll just go right down this where am I getting shot at? Oh, there you are. Well, there went half of my health. Not to worry though, as we'll make it by as we enter Big Tony's secret club. All that's left is to mow him down with your dual Tommies, grab the crystal which Big Tony conveniently held onto himself, and it's off through the portal. Overall, I really enjoyed this level, especially its color palette, though ironically enough, the only gripe I had with this level is the color palette of the enemies specifically, as most of their dark brown and blue outfits blend in too much with the city itself, leaving for too many games of Where's Waldo. Oh well, on to the next level.
So pure, so innocent.
In the level Notre Dame, rest in peace by the way, you take the role as Viola, the coolest jester around. I mean, come on, look at that design. And if you're playing co-op, you're joined by Mr. Underwood. But anyway, the cult leader Jack de la Morte, please don't make fun of my French butchering, I'm trying, okay, is doing some shady stuff within the cathedral, including, but not limited to, sacrificing maidens, performing rituals with his undead army, summoning giant demons, and worst of all, clearly not brushing his teeth. Who even let this man in the building? As Viola, your job is to fight off the horde of undead warriors, save the maidens, well, almost all of them, kill Jack, and of course, snag yourself that time crystal that the undead started worshipping. You know, it's been like 10 minutes since the time crystal dropped here and they're already worshipping it. Jack must have no standards, man, Jesus. Along the way, you meet up with the Hunchback of Notre Dame. You know, the kind, lovable hunchback who's now equipped with a freaking shotgun. With his help, the two of you, Mr. Underwood, save the remaining mistress, and after eliminating this abomination, you meet with Jack at the roof of the cathedral to deliver shell after shell upon him with your trusty double-barrel shotgun you've been using throughout the level. Can I just say, in terms of level design, Siberia and Chicago have nothing on this. This is by far my absolute favorite level in terms of design. There's so many points throughout the level that I found myself stopping to admire the scenery, despite the level being held back by old hardware. And I gotta say, I'm glad that this is the case, as Notre Dame was a beautiful cathedral, and so it's only fitting that this level looks appealing. There's genuinely no problems I have with this level, aside from maybe the intentionally terrible enemy placement or two, such as these stupid zombies on the staircases. And as for Viola, she is by far my favorite female character in the game. Come on, how can you not look at that design and go, well, on to the next level. Return to Planet X. In Return to Planet X, you arrive on a distant alien planet. Hey, Can you guess what the name of the planet is? As Hank Nova and his accomplice Candy Skylar, the two of you are tasked with putting a stop to a feud between the planet's wannabe inhabitants. The B's are Mox and the O's are Mox. I honestly don't know if I showed you the right character for each name I gave out, but who cares? This level, at least in terms of layout, is without a doubt my least favorite in the game. When I first played this level as a kid and saw we were going to an alien planet, I was so excited to go inside spaceships and see alien tech and whatnot, and while you do occasionally in this level, it's more just so in and out of spaceships, whereas the majority of the level sees you on the planet itself. Now, that wouldn't be so bad if it looked like an alien planet, but aside from the few alien plants here and there, you're pretty much just located at Arizona. Rocks on top of rocks on top of rocks. Everywhere you look, there's rocks. This planet just feels so dry, which is ironic considering a level later in this game called Wild West feels less dry than this, and that's the goddamn Wild West. In terms of story, this one is also the least developed and interesting. I could go on and on about the story of nearly each level, but the best I can say for this one is there's an alien war going on, you shoot some aliens, take down some spaceships, and boom, you're done. Speaking of those rocks, by the way, I don't just not like it for its appeal, I also don't like it because of its repetitiveness. While streaming this game on twitch.tv at GeneMachine99, link in the description, I can't tell you how many times I got lost and didn't know where I was going, and it turned out I was just going in circles. Oh, and don't even get me started on the starting pistol in this game. Whose idea was it in the future to make a weapon that has bullets going right back at you when it hits a wall? Despite everything I just said though, this level is alright, but alright on its own. When compared to the previous and upcoming levels in the story, it's abysmally low in my eyes. Though, with all that said, this level does have one of the best bangers in the game. Well, on to the next level, Neotokyo. First and foremost, let me say that this is by far my favorite level in the entire game by a long shot. The environment to this day is still an incredible sight to look at. The characters you play and fight have spectacular designs, including my favorite character in the game, Ghost. The story in this level is really fascinating. The song in this level is not only my favorite song in the game, but my favorite song in any game for that matter, and to top it all off, the structure of the level, essentially what you have to do to beat it, is in my personal opinion the most fun I had playing this game. Now, I say in my opinion because it's really a mixed bag. Some people like it, some people think this is the worst level because of this. How the level works is, you have to follow this enemy to her hideout. The only way into the hideout is by sneaking in with her, so that means you have to follow her all the way to her hideout without her knowing. Now, in a level like Siberia, you have the choice to go in stealthy or guns a-blazing. Either way works, it just depends on your preference how you want to go about it. However, in this level, you are locked to playing stealthily for the first half of the level, no other choice. If you shoot, you get caught. If you aren't looking at your minimap and a camera or police car sees you, you get caught. If you get too close to the enemy you're following or go in the front of her line of sight, you get caught. The only way to go about this is either by following her at a distance or doing an exploit that involves hiding somewhere in the hideout that she can't see and then following her in there, which I wouldn't recommend personally. Now, like I said, it's a mixed bag. Some people like this and some don't. I am among the people personally that think this is awesome for the level. Considering what you're doing combined with the setting of the level and the song playing, I think the game giving you the option to go either stealthy or not would only make the level worse. It's all about the immersion, and I feel the immersion is great when the level is played out exactly how it's supposed to. Now, if you're more on the side of just wanting to get straight into the action, this level might not be for you, but for everyone else, I think you'll enjoy it as much as I do. Anyway, to move on from my rambling, you, playing Ghost, are a framed criminal thanks to the enemy hacker group led by Sadako. You have to hide from the police, and the only way to clear your name is to expose the hacker group for who they are. And who they are a bunch of criminals doing tests and experiments on innocent humans inside their base. Your job is to sneak into the base, take pictures of the experiments, and clear your name, all while getting your hands on the time crystal, which is in the possession of the hacker boss Sadako. Now what's interesting about this boss is that unlike the rest of the bosses in this game, when you come into contact with her, she actually tries to escape from you, so if you let her get away, you lose the time crystal. I think that's a really neat mechanic and makes sense considering now the entire police force is against her. Aside from that, there's two quick things I want to mention on this level. First, this level is actually in 2019, which obviously you can see the striking differences, and the other thing I want to mention is the music. Just take a listen to a portion of it, and thank you YouTube for not having this soundtrack in your content ID system. Absolutely love it. Anyway, on to the next level. I'ma stop you right there. So, as you can see, this video's been going on for quite some time now, yet we still have so much to cover. We're only halfway through the story, so here's the deal. For both the reasons of not wanting this video to overstay its welcome, and of not wanting to spoil the entirety of every single level for you, even though I already spoiled the fact that Corporal Hart dies, the last 5 chapters of the story are simply going to be brief. So let's begin. In the 6th level Wild West, you play as Elijah Jones on a mission to both take out the Confederate colonel that took over the town, and retrieve the time crystal from the dig site. This level is good, to put it simply, but something I really enjoy about this level is that unlike every other level in co-op, where you and your partner start in the same area, in here, the second player, Ramona Sosa, is actually locked in jail, and you have to start the beginning of the game, whether you're playing solo or co-op, freeing her by blowing up the back with gunpowder. Which of course, you can make some pretty interesting art pieces with this gunpowder. Also, yet another level with a fire OST. This game has yet to miss with the music. In the 7th level, Atom Smasher, you play as Harry Tipper, a playboy philanthropist from the 70s, inside the lair of the evil boss, Callus. Throughout the level, you take out his henchmen, all while getting the scientists in the building to defuse the bombs Callus planted. Yes, Callus is literally willing to blow up his entire lair just to take you out. I hate this level if I'm being quite honest, as the timer is incredibly short and feels way too unfair, so don't expect to be able to clear this level on your first try unless you play on easy. It's a cool level that feels straight out of a 70s action movie, but the ridiculously short timer makes the level too sweaty for me. In the 8th level, Aztec Ruins, you play as the British explorer Captain Ash and holy the Jungle Queen. This video is absolutely gonna get demonetized now. Anyway, the time crystal was stolen by stone golems who reside in the secret temple within the jungle, and so your job is to explore the temple and retrieve the time crystal. This level is filled with traps, secret areas, and of course, monkeys with watermelons that happen to explode, which automatically makes it a great level. My only gripe with this level is one puzzle it has you do towards the beginning, which isn't hard to figure out, but it is certainly tedious. Still though, great level, and the temple is really cool to explore. Hey, remember when I said Atom Smasher wasn't easy? Well, for your 9th level, you play as Gretel Mc2 in R109 in the Robot Factory. To summarize, there's a robot war going on, and your player is a rogue looking to take out the leader of these bots, otherwise known as the Baby Wah Wah Machinist who speaks in Enchantment Table. If you were looking to play this game on hard mode, well, good luck with this level. You have to deal with vibing robots, fear-inducing trash cans that transform into your worst nightmare, torpedo things, explosive cameras, hell, even the Roombas on the floor want to eliminate you. But none of that even compares to the sentry bots. These guys, when equipped with the homing launcher, are near impossible to take out. And of course, shoot homing missiles at you that take out half of your health in one rocket. So yeah, good luck with that. Oh, and if you thought it would be over by then, you then have to deal with the machinist who, well, let's just walk through this door. Who would ever want to go against this guy? Oh my god! Overall, I think this would be a really good level if the difficulty, at least on normal mode, was toned down a bit. Otherwise, it is a really neat level. And finally, for our last level, we return to the space station with all the crystals. Of course, here's the part where Corporal Hart dies, which, funny enough, when you do co-op, she's the second player. I guess Cortez must have picked up some necromancy when he was in Notre Dame, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, the last level is pretty straightforward. You set a detonation timer on the station and escape before the timer runs out, taking out every last one of those time splitters on the station. Now this level, unlike Atom Smasher, is a lot more forgiving on its timer, but overall it's a pretty average level, which is a bit disappointing considering it's the climax and all. And with that, you leave with nothing but yourself and the crystals. GG. Overall, I think the story as a whole is a fantastic experience, and even though I express my complaints with some of the levels, I express only in comparison to the other levels that are superior. I think every one of the levels are a blast to play, just some more than others, and I would highly recommend you at least try this game out for its campaign. But hold up, we aren't done just yet. There's still so much to play in TimeSplitters 2, including the arcade, challenge mode, and the Mapmaker. In Arcade, you have Arcade League and Arcade Custom. I'll touch on Custom in a second, but in Arcade League, you compete in a huge variety of tasks that unlock a ton of different things to spice up the variety in your game even more. Some of these missions involve tasks such as having a Mexican standoff, surviving a hospital with the living dead set on fire, mowing down hordes of ducks, mowing down hordes of literal hands on sticks. I could go on and on and on about the Arcade League, but with so many missions, we'd be here all day. In total, actually, there are 45 unique missions to do, and that's not even including challenge mode. While the Arcade League is more on missions that have specific game modes that you can find in Arcade Custom, Challenge Mode has more unique tasks that you can't find anywhere else. This includes smashing glass with various weapons, zombie survival waves, pure mini stealth missions, collecting bananas on the ground like Pac-Man, shooting cardboard cutouts, some of which give you points and some make you lose points, classic story missions, which are reimaginings of the story missions from TimeSplitters 1, at least for the story they kinda somewhat had, and finally, literally shooting monkeys that are flying in the sky. This in total makes 21 more missions for a total of 66 unique missions. And of course, there's the Arcade Custom, which is where you can use everything you unlocked. Here you can create a custom game, and when I say custom, I mean custom. You can customize quite literally every aspect of the game. Not to mention, in various game modes, we have Deathmatch, which is free for all, Team Deathmatch, which is, well, Team Deathmatch, Capture the Bag, Bag Tag, which is free for all, capture the bag, Elimination, Shrink, which makes whoever in last place tiny so they're harder to hit, Vampire, which makes you lose health if you don't deal damage, Thief, which when you eliminate opponents, they drop coins and most coins win, Flame Tag, which is pretty much tag but with fire, Virus, which sets one person on fire at the start, and when you touch the person on fire, you too become on fire, so elimination with fire, Regeneration and Leech, which is as you would expect, Zones, which is domination, Assault, which is objective-based missions, and finally, Monkey Assistant, which states that whoever is in last place will occasionally get support from spawning monkeys who will come equipped with rocket launchers. Wow. Granted, a lot of these are deathmatch with a unique take on it, but regardless, you don't see this many game modes nowadays in games. And finally, we have Mapmaker. I'll keep it brief. You can make your own map, even to the point of it having its own logic and actions, such as enemy spawns, lighting, objectives, and even your own handmade story mode if you want. For the PS2 era, this was definitely something special. Of course, in style, the stream and I made a PP for our stage, and man was it wild. And that's TimeSplitters 2, everyone. I still had so much to do and unlock even after playing for over 8 hours on stream, and so content definitely isn't scarce in this game. Overall, I'd say without bias and nostalgia factoring in, that this is one of my personal favorite games of all time, and I'd absolutely recommend you give it a shot, whether you emulate it on PC or get a copy for consoles in the PS2 era. If you're interested in the series as well, a fan-made project called TimeSplitters Rewind is in development, which is a full-on remake of all 3 TimeSplitters games. Link to their YouTube channel will be in the description, and as well, a company named THQ Nordic acquired the right to TimeSplitters a few years back, so the possibility of a new TimeSplitters game is, well, very possible. Anyway, with that, we end the video. Thank you for watching, and be sure to tune in next week for an analysis on the game Tide the Tasmanian Tiger, which is another one of my childhood games. Or if you want, be sure to check out me, bruh. Or if you want, be sure to check me out on twitch.tv Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, where I'll be streaming myself clearing as much as I can of the game for video footage. Also, special thanks to Genti Dimitri for his generous donation of $10 during the stream on Wednesday. That was a wonderful surprise for me, and I felt it was worth mentioning in the video. Oh, and while I have your attention, one last thing. You may have noticed my microphone doesn't sound the best. Sadly, my computer is loud, and so to block out the noise, I have a noise nullifying software called RTX Voice. It's great and all, but as you can hear, it's not perfect and makes my mic sound spongy a bit. This week, I'll be changing parts in my computer to make it sound a little bit more quiet, so hopefully by the next video, the mic quality will be much better. Alright, well, that's it. See ya.